Last night was the first time we ever had public hearings for the 1-6 committee in Congress investigating that attack on the US Capitol. And something that bipartisan House panel opened up with was a series of comments from people, as well as, hey, testimony live under oath of people testifying before the hearing that essentially put Donald Trump right at the center of a plot that led the January 6th insurrection. Now, Thursday's hearing, it began with a video of aide after aide to the former president testifying that his claims of a stolen election were utterly false. And the testimony that opened the hearing, well, it came from Trump's top cop, Bill Barr, once again under oath, calling the rigged election claims BS. Check this out.
I had 3 discussions with the president that I can recall. One was on November 23rd, one was on December 1st, and one was on December 14th. And I've been through sort of the give and take of those discussions. And in that context, I made it clear I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was. And, I didn't want to be a part of it, and that's one of the reasons that went into me deciding to leave when I did. I observed, I think it was on December 1st, that how can you can't live in a world where the incumbent administration stays in power based on its view, unsupported by specific evidence, that there was fraud in the election.
Now, it is definitely nice to know that someone working for the Trump administration had some semblance of common sense and conscience and decided to put those two things together and speak some truth. But it's even a little bit more interesting that someone who shares Trump's own blood actually is kind of co-signing on what Bill Barr said. That's right, I'm talking about Ivanka Trump, because she happened to say this when confronted with Bill Barr's conclusion as to the election being stolen.
About the election when Attorney General Barr made that statement?
It affected my perspective. I respect Attorney General Barr. So I accepted what he was saying.
Indeed, Ivanka accepted it, and Trump doesn't seem to accept what Ivanka's saying, because as of this morning, he reportedly hit back at Ivanka, saying that she was not involved in looking at or even studying election results, and she had checked out after she was told that the January 6th committee said that she accepted the election was not stolen. Yeah, that's right. Trump always denying the truth and denying everything that are facts in front of him. Now, also during her opening statement, that is Liz Cheney, the Republican who led yesterday's public hearing, well, she did not disappoint. This per Rolling Stone. Cheney recalled how in the building up of January 6th, then President Donald Trump sought to clean house at the Justice Department, which was refusing to help him advance his big lie that he'd been deprived of a rightful election victory by fraud and voting irregularities. Yep, and in his effort to gain compliance from DOJ, well, Trump wanted to install his own yes man. That's Jeffrey Clark, this picture of him on the left, as acting AG, in place of Jeffrey Rosen on the right, who refused to meddle in the election results, and I believe he ultimately declined. But this obviously didn't pan out, and Cheney, as she further noted about Clark, that he had refused to testify, interestingly enough, invoking his Fifth Amendment protections. That's that amendment that protects you from testifying against yourself in the event that maybe you did something that was a crimey thing and you don't want to be held accountable for it. Yeah, that was that. Anyway, so Cheney dropped some bombshells last night, including this one.
Representative Perry contacted the White House in the weeks after January 6th to seek a presidential pardon. Multiple other Republican congressmen also sought presidential pardons for their roles in attempting to overturn the 2020 election.
Yeah, Cheney was talking about Scott Perry. He represents Pennsylvania's 10th district. He's a congressman, and he also refused to testify. That's right. So didn't want to testify before the committee, and also was seeking a pardon. Yeah, he was a major player in Trump's attempt to overturn the election, and he's the one who happens to be the player who connected Trump with Jeffrey Clark. It's pretty wild here because it seems that a lot of these people are intertwined, and it was only recently discovered that the committee learned that after a meeting with Perry, Meadows had burned some documents. That's right. This Meadows-Perry meeting was in the weeks after Election Day, as Trump and his allies sought ways to reverse the election results. Whew, that is a lot there. And so I will take a quick break to ask you, Jackson, hey, how is this sitting with you?
Well, the reality is that firstly, these people ask for pardons because they know that, the reality of them trying to overturn an election is quite a serious matter. And the more time that goes on and the more people, the general public is exposed to, the facts of what happened, the more it's going to settle in that this really is abnormal and rather crazy that thousands of people ran up into the heart of the nation, especially what they did it over. But you can't spin this into something like, oh, it's no big deal. Because firstly, we know that if the tables were turned and if the left did this or anyone other than Republicans did this, it would be, it would be thrust out in the media even harder than it is being on MSNBC, CNN, or whatever that is. But these people running up and storming the capital of the nation is not normal, and it's something that they should face consequences for, and they can't escape it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's right. They can't escape it, and they should be facing consequences. But unfortunately, we don't necessarily know if that's going to happen. But one thing we definitely do know is that the face of Fox News, at least one of them, hey, he was involved in last night's hearing, even if he wasn't necessarily airing it, and that's Sean Hannity. Here we go. Watch this on what Liz Cheney had to say about Hannity.
Most emblematic of those days is this exchange of texts between Sean Hannity and former President Trump's press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany. Sean Hannity wrote, in part, "Key now, no more crazy people, no more stolen election talk. Yes, impeachment and 25th Amendment are real. Many people will quit." Ms. McEnany responded in part, "Love that. That's the playbook." The White House staff knew that President Trump was willing to entertain and use conspiracy theories to achieve his ends. They knew the president needed to be cut off from all of those who had encouraged him. They knew that President Donald Trump was too dangerous to be left alone.
Too dangerous. Wow. And also knowing that he had all these co-conspirators, including Sean Hannity of Fox News, I find it to just be mind-blowing. In large part as well is because Hannity makes some 40 million a year, yet he found time to meddle in an effort to stage a coup. Yeah, and also, as we know, he definitely went on air trying to get people not to watch the hearing and also trying to undermine it to the fullest extent for which he could. But hey, there's a reason that all the major networks aired it and Fox News did not. Jackson, any last comments on this?
Yeah, well, I think that the scariest thing is that the only reason that these people pulled back and tried to rear things backwards is because they realized they couldn't move forward with it anymore. So again, these precedents are setting the stage for what the right wing will continue to do in coming elections. We're seeing what they have set up and planned for elections in the midterms, where they're setting up these networks with district attorneys and right-wing activists to be running polling stations. And they're going to continue to make efforts to take away people's ability to vote in Democratic districts. So, this was just par for the course, and we're going to see a lot more of it.
Yes, unfortunately, we may just see a lot more of it out there.